Ohio. Nikolaev, the city in the southern part of Ukraine, the administrative center of the Nikolaev region and the Nikolaev district. One of the largest economic centers of the south of Ukraine. Emergence of the city is connected with construction of shipbuilding shipyard. In the 19th century it became the center of shipbuilding on the Black Sea and also control center of the Black Sea Fleet. In the second half of the 20th century it was one of the most important regions of the Soviet shipbuilding. In the first year of construction of shipyard in the Ingula she had no certain name. In correspondence of the Prince G.A. Potyomkin with M50. To leave and other persons the shipyard was called differently. Ingulsky shipyard, shipyard on Ingula, Ustingul. His city received the name in memory of the victory won in 1788 by the Russian troops, capture of the Turkish fortress Ochakov in day of the patron of seamen, the prelate Nikolaev. Under the decree of the Prince Grigory Potyomkin in the mouth of the Ingul River under the leadership of the Colonel Mikhail Filiv in 1788 the shipyard around which the city began to be under construction was put. Day of foundation of new shipyard it is considered on April 27, 1789. This number dated Potyomkin Filiv's instruction to get shipyard on Ingula. In 1790 the first ship, the 46-gun frigate Saint Nikolai, was lowered from shipyard. The foundation of construction in Nikolaev of large sailing warships was laid for them and the primary branch of the city, shipbuilding is defined. Nikolaev was under construction according to the plan, made by Ivan Starov, with direct streets and quarters of the correct form. Long time the headquarters of the Black Sea Fleet and management of the Sevastopol and Nikolaev military governor were deployed in Nikolaev. This position was traditionally held by the chief commander of the Black Sea Fleet and ports. During the Crimean War it became the main rear base. Most of the enterprises which were created in the city treated military-industrial complex, and in this regard Nikolaev was closed many decades for visit by foreigners. In March 1816 appointment to the post of the governor. The Sevastopol and Nikolaev military governor was received by the Admiral Alexei Greig. Being in this position till 1833, he made a lot of things for Nikolaev's arrangement. In the city port constructions were erected, credit society is created, sea trade became more active, there was Morskoy Boulevard, works on lighting of the city, laying of sidewalks began, men's and women's schools are open, the shelter is constructed. In 1820 Greig founded Sea Astronomical Observatory in Nikolaev. In 1826 he for the first time in the history of the Russian fleet created in Nikolaev the headquarters which problem included the organization of combat training of the fleet peacetime and development of plans of operations during war. From 1860 to 1871 Bogdan von Glasenapp was the military governor of Nikolaev. According to his petition the highest command in the city in 1862 opened commercial port for calling of foreign vessels, and the city for arrival and life of foreigners. In this regard in the city foreign consulates were founded. All this was an incitement to Nikolaev's transformation to big trade port. At the end of the 19th century the Nikolaev port took the third place after St. Petersburg and Odessa on trade volume with the abroad, and on export of grain, which suppliers were steppe provinces, the first place in the country. Nikolaev became the big industrial center in the south of the Russian Empire. In 1918-19 Nikolaev for the first time endured occupation by foreign troops. In 1920 the Soviet power was approved here. The center Kherson. January-December 1920. And the Nikolaev. 1920-1922. Provinces of Usser. District. 1922-1923. The district and regional. 1923-1925. Center of the Odessa province of Usser district. 1925-1930. And regional. Since 1925. The Odessa Center, the regional center of Odessa region. 1932-1937. Since 1937 the center of the Nikolaev region. From the beginning of the Great Patriotic War Nikolaev was occupied on August 16, 1941. During occupation in Nikolaev the underground diversionary group, Nikolaev Center, acted. On March 28, 1944 the city was freed from Hitlerite troops by the Soviet troops of the 3rd Ukrainian Front and forces of the Black Sea Fleet during the Odessa operation, in particular, and also thanks to Olshansky's landing. In post-war time Nikolaev became one of the centers of shipbuilding of the Usser. Vessels released 3 shipbuilding plants, the Black Sea Shipbuilding Plant, the plant of a name of 61 Communard and the Opium Plant. Nikolaev is in the south of a steppe zone of Ukraine. The city is located on the peninsula washed by waters of the rivers the Southern Bug and Ingul. The territory of the city makes 260 km. Nikolaev is in the second time zone. The East European time. Shift of rudder world coordinate time is +2:00 winter. Heat. And +3:00 summer. East. Till 1990, as well as in all territory of Usser, in Nikolaev time of the 3rd time zone. The Moscow Standard Time was applied. Environmental problems of Nikolaev are typical for many cities of Ukraine. Pollution of reservoirs and the rivers, the atmospheres, underground waters, quality of drinking water, noise, waste management, the conservation of biodiversity in the territory of the city. The question of treatment of municipal solid waste remains one of the most burning issues. Within the city 18 objects of natural and reserved fund with a total area about 1184 hectares. 4.5% of the urban area are located. Flowers of Wild Sada. Nikolaev Zoo. Monuments of landscape gardening art. Victory Park, National Garden Park, Square of a name of 68 paratroopers, Square Arkasovsky, Boulevard, Naval, Groves Park, Young Heroes, Youth Park. Botanical Nature Sanctuary, Square Memory. Reserved Natural Boundary, Oaklets. Forest Wildlife Area of Balabanovka. Hydrological Wildlife Area, October Reservoir. Hydrological Nature Sanctuary, Turkish Fountain. 4 Botanical Nature Sanctuaries, Cherish Chati Oak. Climate of the city moderate and continental, with moderate low snow winter and in the dry hot summer with infrequent but heavy short-term storm rains. Average annual air temperature is 10.7 C. The lowest registered temperature in January of the 1940th, 29.7 C. The highest in August of the 1998th, 40.1 C. On average in a year in Nikolaev 401 millimeters of an atmospheric precipitation drop up. Least of all them in February and March, most of all in June. Snow cover of insignificant height up to 3.8 cs which, as a rule, keeps not for long is annually formed, from 1 to 8 days then strong thaw and snow come very quickly thaws. Constant thaw in winter time became a norm of winter climate of Nikolaev in recent years. The frosty period seldom sticks to more than a week. However, approximately time in 4-6 years, after all there are really severe winters or separate winter months. Snow cover can reach considerable heights, about 35-40 cs, and it is formed in few days at loss of extreme snowfalls. At the same time, low temperatures can also long remain due to dominion of the Arctic and Siberian anticyclones. As well as on the most part of the planet, global warming has significant effect on Nikolaev's climate, altering climatic parameters. In general, Nikolaev's climate became warmer. In 30 years average annual temperature rose by 0.7 C. Also became much more the land. The average annual amount of precipitation was reduced by 72 and at near 15% of historical average long-term value. The city is divided into 4 intracity areas: Zavodsky, Ingulsky, Ship and Central. Zavodsky district is located in the west of the city. Here many industrial enterprises are concentrated. Groves and the alluvium, Crete and Small Kornik are a part of the area. Ingulsky district is located in the east of Nikolaev. In addition, he includes new gardening yachts, the new and old watering place. Here the zoo, bus and railway stations are located. The ship area is located in the south of the city. Includes the wide beam, Bogoyevlensk, Balabanovka, Kolbakino. The central district is located in the northwest of the city. The historic center of Nikolaev, the rocket natural boundary, Temvad, Salt, northern includes Ternovka, Medvedka, Varvarovka. The modern coat of arms is approved on September 26, 1997. The coat of arms of 1883, from which removed the coat of arms of the Kherson province, was assumed as a basis. The modern flag is approved on July 2, 1999. It represents a white panel with the image of the coat of arms and 2 wavy horizontal strips. In structure of the industry of Nikolaev, the main place is taken by mechanical engineering and metalworking, from which such areas as shipbuilding and power engineering are distinguished. The shipbuilding is presented in Nikolaev by 3 shipbuilding plants which are capable to build and deliver the ships. It is the Black Sea Shipbuilding Plant, the Nikolaev Shipbuilding Plant and the Opian Plant. Also a number of the enterprises which provide production of ship equipment belongs to shipbuilding area. Besides, in the city the enterprises of electrotechnical and electronic industry are located. The enterprise Zormishproit manufactures versatile gas turbine engines and installations which are used both for the equipment of the ships and for transportation of natural gas and electricity generation. One of the largest enterprises of the city is the Nikolaev Alumina Refinery, which produces alumina, raw materials for aluminum production. Large enterprise is also the Nikolaev Aircraft Repair Plant, NARP. Except the heavy industry, in the city the food industry is developed, the producer of juice of Sander, producer of lactose Nikolaev dairy products, Yanta Beer Factory, the enterprises, Nibulon, Iveri, Inegro, Bunch, Kofka Agri, Oil Trans Terminal, Colonel, Nikotera are located here. Earlier the alcoholic beverage plant worked. The city economy more than for 35% depends on storage, transfer of products. Oil, grain, coal, clay. Stividorsky services that is the city by one of the main transport hubs of Ukraine on an equal basis with Odessa, Yuzhny, Black Sea with goods turnover of 21.2 million tons annually. Nikolaev is a large transport hub of Ukraine and the city is located 4 and one more near the city. Port. Nikolaev Sea Trade Port CS, Ovaya, Nikolaev River Port, Specialized Port of Nikotera, Dneprobugsky Seaport. The main exported goods. Products of agriculture, oil, clay, coal, sulfur, scrap metal, timber, military equipment. Through Nikolaev there passed the Eurasian Transport Corridor and a transport corridor of the Black Sea Economic Cooperation. In the city the international airport which resumed the work in 2018 is located. The basis of city transport is made by share taxis, the trolleybus, the tram. Mobile operators in Nikolaev 4, it is Kyivstar, Intertelecom, Vodafone and Lifeco. All work in standard 4G. In the city a set of zones and cafe where it is possible to use Wi-Fi. The television is generally cable. The largest operator of ENKP. Also in Nikolaev digital land broadcasting in DVB-T standard is conducted. Population. According to official figures the current statistical account. Data of General Statistic Office in the Nikolaev region. For January 1, 2016 the population of the Nikolaev region made 1,158.2 thousand people. For last year the population decreased by 6,135 inhabitants. Reduction of the population happened due to natural reduction on 6,341 people, migration gain, the 206th man is at the same time recorded. The population of the city of Nikolaev for 2015 makes 494,381 people, for January 1, 2016 made 493,583 man. The national structure of the population of Nikolaev in gradation of 1926-2001. 1926, 1939, 1959, 2001. Ukrainians of 29.9% of 49.7% of 59.7% of 72.7%. Russian 44.6% of 31.0% of 30. 3% of 23.1%. Jews of 20.8% of 15.2% of 6.8% of 0.5%. Belarusians of 0.3% of 0.7% of 1.0% of 0.8%. Bulgarians of 0.2% of 0.6% of 0.6% of 0.8%. Poles of 1.7%. Germans of 1.1% of 0.9% of 0.1%. Language list of Nikolaev for 1897. Rusty 61023. 66.3%. Ukrainsky 7780. 8.5%. Yiddish 17949. 19.5%. Polish 2612. 2.8%. Nemetsky 813. 0.9%. Tatarsky 595. 0.6%. Gruchesky 214. 0.2%. Belaruski 191. 0.2%. As well as the majority of the cities of the south of Ukraine, Nikolaev arose and developed as the Russian-speaking city. The language influences of the neighboring Ukrainian-speaking massif were also noticeable throughout the history of the city. 5.1. Whose childhood and youth passed in Nikolaev noted on a census of 2001 of 56. 8% of residents called Russian native. That after adoption in 2012 of the law about bases of the state language policy was the cause of giving of the status to regional. The native language on a census of 2001 in the districts of Nikolaev and settlements of the city council. Ukrainian, Russian, the Bulgarian, Armenian. Factory district of 37.48% of 61.68% of 0.04% of 0.15%. Ship district of 55.17% of 43.75% of 0.04% of 0.30%. Leninsky district 38.38% of 60.85% of 0.04% of 0.16%. Central district 42.65% of 55.98% of 0.75% of 0.13%. Nikolaev 42.17% of 56.81% of 0.25% of 0.17%. Education. In Nikolaev 10 higher education institutions, the 4 level of accreditation are located. National University of Shipbuilding of a name of the Admiral Makarov. Nikolaev National University of 5. A. Sukhomlinsky. Nikolaev National Agricultural University. Black Sea National University of Pyat Mogila. The South Slovak Institute of the Kiev-Slavistichesky University, which is originally founded as branch of the Kiev-Slavistichesky University. In 2012 is attached to the Nikolaev National University of 5. A. Sukhomlinsky. Nikolaev branch of the Kiev National University of Culture and Arts. Nikolaev Institute of the Right of the National University, Odessa Legal Academy. Nikolaev in a Regional Institute of Development of the Person of the Higher Educational Institution, Open International University of Development of the Person Ukraine. Nikolaev branch of the Private Higher Educational Institution, European University. International Technological University, Nikolaev Polyquipment. 65 comprehensive schools, lyceums, gymnasiums, collegium, 3 evening schools, 71 preschool educational institutions and also 12 private and departmental educational institutions work in the city. Among libraries is Nikolaev. Nikolaev State Regional Universal Scientific Library of A. Myrwov. The Nikolaev Regional Library for Youth. The Nikolaev Regional Library for Children of 5. Lagin. Central Library of M50. Kropivnitsky. The Central City Library for Children of Shurakober and Vityahemenko. Scientific and Pedagogical Library of the City of Nikolaev. Religion. Nikolaev is the center of the Nikolaev and Ochakov Diocese of the Moscow Patriarchy, which in the territory of the city possesses 18 temples. Center of the Nikolaev Diocese of Orthodox Church of Ukraine. The religious organizations and other faiths are widely presented. In 1902 in Nikolaev, one of the most prominent Jewish figures of the 20th century, Menahem Mendel Schneerson, was born. The medical industry of the city is presented by various treatment and prophylactic institutions. 6 hospitals. Hospital of Emergency Medical Service, City Hospitals No. 1 No. 3 No. 4 No. 5 City Children's Hospital No. 3 maternity hospitals, 7 centers of primary health care, 4 polyclinics for children, the center of socially important diseases, and 4 dental polyclinics. In September 2009, the Museum of History of Medicine and Public Health Care of Nikolaev opened. The museum is located in management of healthcare, and the materials are presented from the moment of origin of medicine in the city till present. Culture and art. In Nikolaev there are 3 theaters, the Nikolaev Academic Ukrainian Drama Theater and the Musical Comedy, the Nikolaev State Puppet Theater and the Nikolaev Academic Art Russian Drama Theater. Also the Nikolaev Regional Philharmonic Hall works. Museums. The Nikolaev Regional Museum of Local Lore, the Museum of Shipbuilding and the Fleet. Branch of Local History. The Museum of the Underground and Guerrilla Movement in Days of the Great Patriotic War, Art Museum of 5. V. Vereshchagin work in the city. In Nikolaev 3 operating movie theaters, Homeland, Pioneer and Multiplex. Earlier there were also movie theaters, Renika, Iskra, Cosmos, Ilyich, of Gorky, and Youth. Sport. Nikolaev by right is considered one of the most sports cities of Ukraine. In Nikolaev 25 children's and youth sports schools in 36 sports in which about 9,200 people are engaged work. As of the middle of the Ord. Training of professional athletes is carried out by the Nikolaev Highest School of Physical Culture and Sport. In the city 5 stadiums, the biggest of which the Central City Stadium, also more than 100 gyms, 4 swimming pools, more than 20 tennis courts are located. The honor of the city in all Ukrainian competitions is protected by Municipal Basketball Club Nikolaev and Municipal Football Club Nikolaev. Acts in the First League of the Championship of Ukraine on soccer. In the American soccer, the city is represented by the Nikolaev Vikings team. Considering a geographical location of the city, in Nikolaev the sailing gained broad development. Nikolaev is proud also of the horse racing school in MCT. Varvarovka, who brought up and grew up Viktor Pogonovsky, the honored master of sports of the USSR, the champion of the Olympic Games 1980, the 20-time champion of the USSR on jumping. Awards and distinctions. On December 31, 1970, the city was awarded the Order the Labor Red Banner for success achieved by workers of the city in performance of tasks of the 5-year plan for development of industrial production. In 2009, the National Bank of Ukraine released the anniversary coin of 5 hryvnias devoted to the 220th anniversary of the city. On March 25, 2022, for a feat, Massachusetts heroism and firmness of citizens during repulse of the armed aggression of the Russian Federation of demanding Ukraine, the President of Ukraine Vladimir Zelensky awarded the city with the rank, Hero Town of Ukraine. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.